Welcome back, tribe. Have one here from Cosmic Verse. Modern women attacking men for going that special kind of way that they don't want you to go.
Men are traveling out of the U.S. just to find a wife.
Over 60% of Gen Z men are single, and intimacy is at a 30-year low across both genders.
Men, you're passing a woman on the sidewalk, you don't want her to feel threatened, what do?
What do I bring to the table? I am the table.
Other than MGTOW, the passport bros played a big role in men walking from dating.
Me? Or are you fucking exhausted from dating? Jesus fucking Christ.
The best advice women have ever been given is that they don't need a man.
Feminism isn't actually about equality, it's about equality when it benefits us.
Apparently, there's a whole group of men that are just done with dating. And until now, there hasn't really been a good way for these men to communicate their total lack of interest in dating the wrong type of woman. It's the "don't try me" spray. For the B and the H. See, because the B doesn't care about him or his needs, only what she can get from him. The H doesn't care about loyalty. She just cares about what she can get from multiple men. And it can be used anywhere. It says that it can be used in the home, office, cars, stores, anywhere that you don't want this type of woman to be. So there you go, guys. With this, you can just spray away and protect your peace.
Oh my God, can I buy this and send it to my ex? She's both. I feel like I'm done. I know it's terrible, but I feel it's a defeating prospect. My wife kicked me out.
It's only a defeating prospect if you give up. You can be done with the game because, let's say, the pool you're fishing in, the lake, is absolutely tainted with garbage fish, and you don't want to waste all your lures, all your boat, everything, all the bait on some crap that you have to put 10x the effort to get that's full of bones and can't even use the meat if you wanted to cook it. So some men have seen the writing on the wall. They took their boat, they took their lures, their baits, and everything else, all the tackle boxes, everything they've all acquired throughout a lifetime, all their skills, and they've went to better waters. They've gone overseas. They saw that life is much better. The fish are much more pristine. They're much nicer. They're much more full of meat, life, the water, clean, no parasites, no leeches to drain you of your energy and resources for nothing in return. Parasitic relationships. They found something beneficial. Lakes and rivers that continue to give and give and give. Nothing but good. And why would those men return? And now what the difference is, because of social media, TikTok, all this stuff, the shorts, men are just starting to share their experiences because they go, oh my God, I never knew it could be this good. They've had shocking experiences going overseas, complete surprises in the most positive of manner. And they go, I have to tell everybody about this. And all men are doing, it's not out of spite. It's just like, I can't believe how much my life has changed by going overseas. Why didn't I do this sooner? I have to tell everyone. It's that inner need for sharing. And so they do. And then other men are going, holy crap, this guy, he's not a 6'6" absolute specimen, Chad. He's just a normal dude. This one's fat. This one's baldy. This one is like 60. Everybody's happy, bro. There's somebody for everybody overseas where people are still grounded. We live in such a consumerist, capitalistic society. And I'm not trying to shit on the benefits of capitalism, but we've corporatized every single aspect of our lives. That's the problem. We live under a corrupt system. This isn't real capitalism. It's like social welfare. Corporate socialism is what we're really under technically. Too big to fail, but except when you're the little guy, then you can go F yourself and go be homeless on the streets. Oh, but if a bank has a little bit of problems, bail them out. With what money? Your money. Does that sound like capitalism to you? That's crazy. So if America and the rest of the West won't take care of their own citizens and only care about the special interest in the lobby groups and the corporations, and we have essentially a two-tier society where it's corporations and business versus citizens, obviously the business has way more power, more influence. All the corporations run the world, essentially, and our governments by extension. So yeah, people are feeling like they're being neglected, like their rights are being eroded, like their ability to move up economically within the social hierarchy is absolutely limited. Inflation, corporate profits are at an all-time high during pandemics and all this stuff, but your jobs and everything else, wages, inflation, everything has been eaten up and stalled for years. Your factory jobs got shipped overseas, boys. Your grandpappy used to work at a factory assembling transmissions and shit and had a good pension plan and had a good benefits package and could support your grandmammy to stay at home full-time with 2 kids and a dog and a nice house and send your ass to school. And now you can't even get that unless you have a specialized degree in a STEM field or something. Even college has now become a complete waste. The government has butt their heads in, made loans guaranteed, but also you can't discharge them. Bro, you call this capitalism? Excuse me. Sorry to rant on the economic factor of why dating, relationships, marriage, starting families is so messed up, but you cannot inject that conversation into the subject matter without first talking about the economic woes people are feeling. Because if men could get decent jobs, if men could survive on their own easily, if men could take on a family and a couple of kids on their incomes, a lot of these problems would go away. But no, we live in a corporatized society where we have to profit from everything. Profit from sick people, profit from Christmas, profit from whatever other holidays, profit from relationships. I mean, it's gotten to the point where everything has become transactional for profit. You have to sell or buy something, whether it's in your marriage, your relationship, shit, even your relationship with God for the religious ones. They're selling you crosses. They're selling you all diamond encrusted Bibles. They're selling you packages at the church. Bro, this is the world we live in. Hedonism, consumerism, profitization above all. And you're surprised the family structure has completely disintegrated in the West? Not even the family structure. We have gender issues now. There's gender wars. What is a woman, boys? What is a man? What is in between your legs? I don't know. You could be 30 different things. Your identity can be fluid and you can change every 5 minutes. Why? Because you could profit off that shit too. Come in here, little friend, with your mental issues. We'll bring you in this clinic. We'll chop some stuff up. And we've just made tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars off the operations from your stupid ass. Ding! Line them up, boys. We're churning cheese out here at the freaking hospitals. It's crazy, dude. Everything is upside down. Everything. I think they said Honey Nut Cheerios on the latest food pyramid for the government is healthier than steak or eggs. Yeah, ridiculous. Excuse my long rants. They just come randomly.
There is no woman worth the headache anymore. I gave up on it and surprised I'm happier than ever. After 36 years of marriage, she wanted a divorce.
What do I bring to the table? Excellent question. I am the table.
Are you stupid?
Why do you think so many men are traveling overseas to find wives in other countries?
Men are traveling overseas to find wives. Why? I'm right here. I'm single.
No,
Why? I want to be married.
Yes, you're there. Bitter. Get used to it.
Right, but I'm saying, do you typically see women traveling overseas?
If men are traveling overseas to countries that have less money and less education, it's because they want a woman who is dependent on them.
Yes, they might be dependent for a couple of years until their visa allow them to steal your job.
For their livelihood.
Passport bros wives are hardworking. They can earn their own money.
For their resources to have a good life. And I don't think that that is a good thing.
Passport bros know that. They're not idiots, and yet they still love them. Because one of the reasons is marrying them is a humbling experience. It gives them a better outlook and appreciate life even more.
A lot of the men I know that go overseas to find wives are not great dudes.
This could be really true.
Can you be more specific?
Yeah, they're pervy.
So passport bro hunters, be careful.
Men don't often get the chance to share their emotions, to be vulnerable, to ask for help. Though if you are one of the few people a man has been able to break down in front of, that should be considered not a weakness, but one of the highest honors you can get. Because when he has to be strong for everybody else,
it's not an honor. Look, dude, this is the brutal reality. No matter what women tell you, you cannot break down in front of your woman ever. You hold a special place in the relationship, which is her looking up to you as the safety, the security blanket, the stable one. No matter what happens in your life, this is what you're allowed at most in order to soothe her deepest needs for security. That's how I can put it nicely. Your father passes away or a family member and a silent tear goes down your cheek just like that. You wipe it away and you're done. You can't break down and cry like a bitch. You just can't. This is biological. This isn't programming from society. This is just their need. The reason she got with you in the first place on a deep fundamental level is that you looked strong in her eyes. You looked capable. You looked like you could protect her. She feels safe around you. This is why they say, I like tall guys. Why? Because I feel so small. I feel so safe around him. I feel protected. You're essentially replacing the father. This is deep psychological stuff. You can't cry. I'm just being brutal. I heard it from so many women. I've heard my friend's sister has said it in front of us. She was dating this. She's married to this guy. Big, strong looking dude, sturdy man. Always cool, calm, and collected. Dude, as cool as a cucumber, no situation ever gets to him. She said in a group setting, out loud, if he were to ever cry in front of me, it would shatter my entire idea of who he is and we're getting divorced. Said it out loud, nonchalantly, without really thinking it. Just innately disgusted at the idea of her big, strong man even crying like a bitch for whatever reason. I'm not saying don't go to your friends and bottle up your emotions and don't speak to nobody. That's not what we're saying. You have your confidant, your little brotherhood of 2, 3, 4, 5, how many, one guy. Doesn't matter, dude. That's what your guy friends are there for. When you need some guidance, when you need someone's ear, when you need somebody to just listen and be there for you and give you some opinions, you have to do this with people you respect. Other men that can walk in your shoes. Other men whose opinions actually matter because they can relate to you on a deep level of being a man. And you know they won't take what you give them and use it against you in the future. These are people you would die for, your brothers. You go to men like that you respect, and then you unload all the issues in your relationship, and they'll be there to listen and tell you what you need to hear because they're men. They won't console you and pat you on the back like whatever. You're just a little scared, useless boy. They'll kick you in the ass, tell you, get up. Here's what you need to do. And this is how you better yourself and you'll get over it. And that's what you need to do. You don't do this shit in front of your woman and expect her to look at you the same way before an event like this happens. It's the brutal truth, man. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm sure there are some. It's just statistically probable that there are some women out there that would be absolutely okay with you breaking down, like, ugly crying and being a bitch. I'm sure there are. You probably don't have one, though. It's so statistically rare. 9.9 out of women probably find that on a deep level innately disgusting. Proceed at your own risk. There are plenty of men in the comments that'll tell you exactly this situation. I broke down and I cried and then boom, my relationship ended. My marriage ended. She never looked at me the same. Sex dried up, blah, 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 blah. I don't know how many times you need to hear it. And the other side will just absolutely lie to your face. Like, not all women. If my man broke down because they're dating a beta bob from the get-go. He was a bitch that she manipulates from the beginning. He was never a man to be respected. He was just convenient. If you're a man she actually has real desire for, if you're a man she actually looks up to and respects and trusts and lets lead the relationship, you cannot be the one that breaks down like that. It's the way of the world.
And he sees you as the one safe space that he can actually have a moment for himself. That's not something to be taken for granted.
I think I have standards, and I think I live in a world right now where boys confuse standards with high maintenance. I'm not ashamed to say I actually require X, Y, and Z for you to be with me.
When a man wants to go 50-50 with you on a date, do this. Oh my God. I'm so embarrassed right now. Wait, you wanted to just be friends? I'm so confused. This whole entire time, I thought this was a date. Oh my God. Okay, I'm so sorry. Here's my card.
Girl 50-50 is so reasonable for a first date. How many times do you or women you know go out with a man just for free stuff? That's why first dates go 50-50. It's just to get to know one another.
And this advice is very good, especially in the West. Always 50-50. Always make her drive her own ass over to the restaurant or the bar or the walk to the park or the coffee, wherever you're going. Just because the way dating is set up, you cannot be invested and you can't put any amount of coin into the first date until you figure out that this person's more than just labeling you a foodie call and getting free shit out of you. But if you go overseas where people actually date with intention and your intention is to show a woman you're serious about her, you absolutely must go traditional. especially if you got a catch that's worthy. You can go overseas and ask a girl 50-50 that you're not interested in. And obviously it's because you're not interested in her. But if you get a great catch and you want the intention to be shown that you are a serious man about her, you're going to have to go the traditional route. And most men already know this and have absolutely no problem because those women are bringing all the attributes of friendliness, the femininity. They're absolutely drop dead gorgeous. They're not overweight. They want a man to lead. They want a man to take care of them. They want children. They want to be married. Of course, you bust out the traditional role for the traditional woman. But when she's the modern queen, the modern queens can go 50-50 and be strong and independent. And it's that simple.
Oh, confused. So do we want equality, or is that just for when it's convenient? I work. I can pay my dinner, especially on a first date when you don't know the other person. I work. I can pay my dinner.
And you got to remember, most of these, quote, modern women are prowling the streets in situationships. They got sugar daddies. They're for sale. Most women are, just being real. In one form or another, you're paying for it as a man. It is transactional in one way or another on the deepest level. You're trading things, your stuff for her womb. You get kids. That's fundamentally what it is. But on the more surface level, some guys are just paying for it directly. And those are the guys that have gone their own way and are sick of doing the dating, the same stories over and over again, the whole pretend and the charade of this is what I'm after, but don't let her know. And enough of the ulterior motives. She just wants you for either your status or your money or whatever it is. And you just want her because you want her body and maybe you don't see anything long term. So a lot of people are now getting into situationships in the sugar daddy, sugar baby relationships and just paying for it straight up. Well, my sugar daddy gives me a monthly allowance, or I met this guy for this much, or he buys me nice things and I do other nice things for him. I mean, that's what it is. We've corporatized dating and relationships. It's all about transactional profiteering off of your body, essentially. I mean, look, OnlyFans is a perfect example. In the comfort of your own home, just turn on a webcam and show your body and get paid by millions of men. Strong, independent queen message right there. There it is. So if they're selling and men are buying, there's a market and there's a demand. That's all there is to it.
The next day,
I had this one guy in New York. We were friends for 20 years. Never
Jesus.
touched him, nothing. And he was like my therapist. Every time something went wrong, I would call him and he just knew what to say to me,
My
like
God.
to calm me down. And like we could talk for hours, but I wasn't physically attracted to him at all. Like I would never see myself having sex with him, but he was like my therapist. Like I could talk to him every day, all day.
this is a perfect example of a woman using a man and getting the boyfriend benefits from him while she's smashing other guys. That's 20 years of that man's life wasted. I wonder what took him so long to dodge that bullet.
No self-esteem, no self-respect, constantly horny for one chick, seeing her she's special, putting her on a pedestal, thinking he can't do better, not valuing himself. That's all things men go through. Who knows what his childhood was like? Was a father even present to instill these boundaries and self-respect in him? Probably not. This is why the state wants to churn out a bunch of broken homes where a bunch of these men are being brought up under because they're subservient. They don't understand what they're capable of or what their worth are in the world. And so they'll be the ones, the single parent, the single mother household boys that will be raised to be feminine men that will take care of the state, the single mothers that will go along with the narratives in society, that will forgive people for things like this, using them for 20 years as a therapist, no backbone and no spine to stand up for themselves ever for anything. They go along with the powers to be. They're the perfect little ant supporting the entire colony. This is how society has gotten in the state that it has today. This is why they keep churning out the very men they say we should be afraid of. Feminine, weak men. They're more prone to lashing because when a man gets emotional, there's a physical threat behind it. So why are you churning these guys out in mass then? Why do you reward women leaving marriages? Why do you reward single motherhood? Why do you reward broken homes? Benefits from the state for being a single mother? Why? You get nothing. If you break up your marriage, you get nothing. You want to take the kids and bolt? You get nothing. No help from the state. Should have picked a better man. Should have thought twice. Oh, I'm going to get him for child support. No, you're going to get no child support for leaving. Zero. Guess how many women would be having babies by Chad, Pookies, and Tyrones? Probably zero, because there will be no support. Guess how many women will be breaking the marriage contract when the government says zero alimony for you? Probably zero, because there's an incentive at the end. They're incentivized to break it over and over and over again. There's little industries of women that literally teach each other how to find starter husbands, divorce them, take their shit, use their newfound leverage, find another man, do the same thing over and over and over again. And she collects assets, money, retirement accounts, benefits, insurance claims, all this shit. And all she's doing is spreading her legs. What's the difference between a woman going through that whole process and a woman just telling you up front, here's $500, you can smash my clam and sayonara? Same exact shit over a longer time frame. Crazy, huh? And they're asking you to slave away at your job, to give up everything you've ever worked for, to sign that little paper to say you're married. And if you don't, you get shamed for it. And why don't you step up and be a real man? That's the one they love to use in society today. Real man. Are you a real man or not? Why don't you just replace the word real man with simp? Are you a simp? Are you going to simp for the state? Are you going to simp for me permanently by contract? Are we simping or not? Are you going to be a real spineless turd simp for me, Ted? So friggin' ridiculous. I think men are just collectively done being gaslit. And that is why they're going their own way.
Men, you're passing a woman on the sidewalk. You don't want her to feel threatened. What do?
The same thing any reasonable person would do in that situation, which is absolutely nothing.
Today's dating and society is just horrible.
Yep.
The new texting is getting to know you. People easily can move on to somebody else with a quick sliding in their DMs or getting on a dating app. Sleeping with other people is so much easier than working hard for it. People don't want to make effort anymore. We don't set up dates. We ask you, where do you want to go eat? What are you craving? Nah, man. Back in the days, you'd have to make effort. The 80s and 90s love is so much different. You had to actually talk to them. You had to call them. We didn't have FaceTime. We'd meet up for coffee. We would get to know each other and we build a future together. Today's society is, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And then you get ghosted or you get used and then they find somebody else. No one cares about your feelings anymore.
Even the 80s and 90s was a shithole for dating. I think we have rose-tinted glasses because that seems like a better time compared to what we have now, of course. But if people in the 80s and 90s were talking about how dating used to be in like the 60s and 70s, they'll tell you again the same shit. It's becoming commercialized. It's becoming, like a racket for profiteering. It's becoming corporatized and in some disgusting way transactional. And they'll tell you that over time, dating, relationships, marriage has been degrading on a far longer time frame than what we're seeing. But this is just human nature that we only see what's right in front of us and what we've experienced in the past. So the 80s and 90s were shit, my friend. Don't look at it with rose-tinted glasses. The decline was starting from way earlier, much earlier. We're talking around the time of the suffragettes and women's rights and women entering the workforce and men losing jobs on a massive scale, factories being shipped overseas and workers' rights deteriorating and stagnating wages, and all these things come together and have slowly been deteriorating the sanctity of marriage, family, and children. No fault divorces, all that stuff. Oh yeah, conservatives, Republicans, Democrats, liberals, all these turds, these rats, all of them were supporting this system.
The society of dating is crap. It literally makes me sick to my stomach. And to be honest with you, I'd rather stay single until I find that old school love. I'm nobody's temporary. I'm someone's forever. You better remember that.
You know what I think is about this generation? Is it seems like no one's really ready to commit to a relationship or dating, but they'll still end up flirting, making you feel special and loved, and then end up ghosting you like you were nothing.
Men are traveling out of the U.S. just to find a wife. I was watching a podcast the other day, and it went on to explain why men are traveling out of the States to find a wife. Sum it all up, they say that women from other countries are well-educated, classy, elegant, very feminine, and they understand how to give and take in relationships instead of being demanding, entitled, and ungrateful for things that men do for them. And I'm not saying all, but some women in America have grown so entitled and demanding. Basically, they think that they can treat a man however they want and they can get away with it. Treat a man poorly, and then they criticize their looks when they're not in the best shape themselves. Agree or disagree all you want, but men do like feminine women. They like when women behave feminine, and they like when women take care of themselves. want a good man, but they're tired of our BS. So much, in fact, that they're traveling overseas just to find a wife that respects them.
This is because when a man wants something real, he can't stay in places where fake love and abuse is the reward for his efforts. It really baffles me because men does not require much from a woman.
So, over 60% of Gen Z men are single, and intimacy is at a 30-year low across both genders. So if you look at this graph right here, you see about 30% of U.S. adults are single. But if you go to the men age 18 through 29, that goes to 63%.
Damn.
Compared to women in that same age group at 34%. What's going on here? After reading the article, no one fucking knows. They try to personalize it saying men can choose differently, but ultimately it's a societal issue as the statistics indicate that.
Economics.
Men can do things differently, but if such a large portion of men are training in a certain way, it's a societal issue. But what do y'all think about this? Do men need to seek relationships at a young age right now? Or should they just...
It's going to be an economic issue, boys, from now until the end of time. You had options. In your grandpappy's time, a young man working. You don't anymore. That Starbucks job, that bullshit gig economy we're in, that little side job you're doing here and there, the inconsistent income, the temp work, the part-time, that shit doesn't cut it to start a family. That shit doesn't even cut it to date. You're barely surviving on that shit. You probably have a roommate. You're not independent and self-sustaining. You want to add dating, another mouth to feed on top of that, taking care of a woman. All that traditional shit is out the window when you can't survive yourself. It's the economic strangulation of young men that's affecting dating so negatively in society today. The problem is we're not pointing up at the people making the laws and running society. We're just pointing it at each other. It's women's fault. It's men's fault. No, it's politicians' fault. It's the bozos in red and blue that shake hands and smile and go, defeated Medicare. And they can't even remember. They look around the stage. It's like walking out corpses in wheelchairs and shit. These are the people leading us. And you wonder why society is turning to shit? Look at the leadership. These are the people solely responsible for all the problems we're dealing with today. They pass the laws, they make the rules, they kick the can down the road, and you're left paying for it. And soon your children too.
Sit back and focus. Let me know.
If you even have kids.
Dating a nice guy is so weird because they have like other people in their lives who they like love and care about and like need to be there for. And I'm like, why am I not your whole world, you know? But it's good.
4 reasons that girls don't like nice guys. Number 1, they're not actually ready for something serious. They think they are, but when a guy shows interest and is consistent and wants to see them, they run the other way. So they're probably just not ready. Number 2, it feels inauthentic sometimes to us women when we see a guy being so nice right off the bat. Like, why do you like me so much? I'm too skeptical. And maybe that's from being burnt in the past, but Number 3, it could be a confidence thing. Like, we don't like ourselves at the moment, so why did they like us? What do they see in us? Because I'm not seeing anything in me right now. Number 4, we love a project, so when they're already nice, there's nothing for us to do. We can't change this person. And that is some real truth.
Relationship is over when a guy hits you with, oh, the phone worked both ways. If you've been sending me good morning messages every single day and good night messages, now all of a sudden, sir, just tell me you done started talking to another girl, because don't hit me with the phone work both ways. You've been texting me since 1976. Good morning, beautiful. How you doing? Looking forward to seeing you soon. Now all of a sudden you talking about the phone work both ways. Boy, get out of my face. Get out of my face. Because I understand what you're doing. What you're doing is...
Nothing. He's just tired of you not appreciating and reciprocating the love he's giving you, you moron. This is why men are going overseas and finding women that appreciate and respect the amount of time and investment men put in these relationships. He's sending you, affirming you, the love, the interest he has for you. Good morning, good night, baby. How's your day? And you don't send him shit back. After a while, it gets boring. After a while, it's like, does this person even care about me? Why is it that I'm the only one giving and never getting anything in return? I don't receive any love, no interest, no good mornings, nothing. Why am I always the one starting the conversation, initiating everything in this so-called relationship? It seems like a one-way street where I give and you take. That's what's happening, stupid. And that's why you're single, stupid. And that's why you'll have cats in your future, stupid, and be part of the 50% of women with no man, no ring, no kids, dry eggs, and a cat eating your face when you're 60 years old. Croaked in your stupid little apartment. I hate man. Good job, bozo.
You're attracted to someone else. Why can't guys just be honest and say they like somebody else? I already know. Y'all give it away.
So I'm 44 years old and I've come to the conclusion I'm going to die alone.
Good job. Finally.
I'm not real picky.
Yeah, you are.
But men at any age, even at 40, insanely, are unavailable emotionally. And it's
For you.
so fucking annoying.
For you. The common variable here is emotionally unavailable for you. It's not the men, because you've dated or went through, got pumped and dumped by multiple men, and not a single one was emotionally available for you. Men are available for the right woman. You've never been that woman, though.
I'm done.
Enjoy the cats.
Somebody please make this go viral.
Box
Help me
wine.
find my life partner.
Oh, no, that's not going to happen. Boxed wine and the kind of cat you want to get. That's what you should be researching. That'll help bring some joy into your life temporarily. Might stop 1 or 2 nights of crying in your pillow. Might not.
My kids are grown. I don't want kids and I don't want marriage.
Why am I single? Why is a man emotionally unavailable? I have kids. I don't even have a man. Where is he? I don't know. Baby daddy somewhere off doing his own thing. Yes, let me step in, spineless turd Ted. Let me bail out your mistakes. Do they even have a brain?
So somebody please help me.
As well, you people settle for like anything. Like literally like, oh my God, he texts me good morning. Please. That is so embarrassing. Like literally when you have women over here that get like crazy cars, that get houses, whatever. It's not even about being materialistic, to be honest, because like somebody might not afford that, but they give their time, they give their love, they try to do as much as they can, and they really put in effort. And you are being ghosted. You're being ghosted. Please, just don't talk to me. Don't talk to me.
If you're still in love with someone else, why the are you dating anybody at all? Plus, this video is now viral. How many men do you think saw this and went, great, now I can bleep her without her getting attached? You can't make a video holding men to a certain standard when you have none yourself.
Ouch. Julia Fox in an interview talked about how she's not dating men anymore. I do think this is part of a larger trend within a lot of women online and just women in general of like giving up on men, giving up on relationships, just reverting back to what feels safe. I'm never going to date men ever again. Like when my friend says that to me, like I want to, go deeper into that. And like, will that really make you? And maybe it will.
You like assholes or nice guys?
I think guys who are way too nice are so unattractive. It's like such like a ick. Like guys who are like kind of dickheads and then they can be nice when I want them to be. That's.
So guys are a dicks. Like you think they can change? Has it ever happened? Has a guy ever changed?
No.
This is exactly why there are so many men that are just done dating. Because if they're a good man, they're being told by this type of woman that he's too nice. And she admits she keeps going for that bad boy type that she's hoping to change into a nice guy just for her. Good men don't work like that. And they don't want that. But what they're being forced to do is weed through this toxic craziness and trying to stay true to themselves, all while hoping that by the time that they do find their match, which is also a healthy mindset, that they're ready for her. Which is really easier said than done, because if you've run into this mindset from a woman over and over and over again as a man, it's just naturally going to be harder and harder to believe as a man that a woman is genuinely interested in who you are as a man that will treat her well. And that is what's messed up.
My ex told me I was too nice. I walked and married someone that respects my generosity. We have 2 kids together. Ex is now a single hag.
See what the comments are saying. Women see marriage as a career move and divorce as a retirement plan. Yep. As a former U.S. Navy sailor, foreign women are a better choice for a relationship. I was told I was too nice once. I told her, thank God, I thought you were going to say I was an asshole, so the problem is you. Thanks for letting me know. Ooh. Don't scream about men leaving if you spent years screaming for them to leave. They demand we leave them alone. We leave them alone. They're still dissatisfied. Enlighten me. Do they still know what they want? World has changed. They haven't. There's nothing free in this world. Work, girls. The sun is still high. Be happy and pay your bills yourself. Freedom and only freedom, brothers. The more successful you are, the more you can avoid shitty women. They won't be able to keep you. Work hard on yourselves, fellas. Yeah, your pool of available prospects gets markedly higher the more high quality you become in society, the more high status you become, the better, the more you earn, the more stable, the more mature, everything all comes together. So I say work hard in your 20s and you get to play or settle in your 30s for, and not even settle. You get to pick exactly what you want in your 30s. For them, it's in the reverse. If they're not smart enough to settle down by the time they're like, say 35, because women are keeping themselves pretty well. There's some single 30-year-olds to 35 that I've seen walking around, at least in Eastern Europe. I'm not talking about the West, but I've seen some 35-year-old smoke shows over here that focused on some of the wrong things. Maybe their situation is similar. At least in the capital, it's more on the feminist side, but the women here tend to work to help families out and send money to their parents, which is a completely different prospect from the me greedy of the West. But there are women here that are absolute smoke shows that there's some 65-year-old, 60-year-old dude that would be happily married to. And I've seen foreign dudes out here in Eastern Europe that are married to these kinds of hardworking women. I go, imagine, bro, you are 60-something, retired, come here, get you a slender, fit, friendly, feminine woman for like 30-something years old, and she works and brings home money and still comes home and cooks for you. And the same thing the Philippine boys are saying. They're out there in Southeast Asia, and those women are multilingual, speaking 3-4 languages, also are career-oriented in the sense of providing for their family. They all have a job because the family expected them to and help out, and they still want kids, and they still want a man to lead, and they still come home and cook and clean, and they do all these things, bro. It's amazing how in a different society, a woman is capable of everything. She's actually strong. She's actually independent. She actually brings something to the table. But when it comes to the West, all of a sudden we got these princess syndrome types. My money's my money. His money, his my money. I just want to lounge around by the pool and be a traditional woman and be in my apron and cook him a meal once in a blue moon, which is microwaving some goddamn pasta or something. It's like completely twisted on its head what a traditional woman is in the West versus what it is here in the East or Far East. It's crazy, dude. In the West, like honestly, if you don't catch her at 20 in her absolute prime, without any street damage, if that's even possible, and somehow feminine, friendly, and fit still, it's done. It's a wrap, dude. But you can go out to other parts of the world in the older past where bros will tell you, the older men dating some of the older women, that's, matching that age range of 10-year difference, 20-year difference on some of them. And they'll tell you the same thing, man. It's crazy how much mature, how much more loving, how much more caring these women are throughout, shit. I've seen a guy say he married I believe it was a Filipina. She was 40 years old. Dude cooks for him, cleans for him, has a career, brings home money, spends it all on him, invested with him together, all that stuff. The dude was like 70 years old. He was approaching 70. That's so insane to think about. The quality difference that a 40-year-old is doing right by that man and is out competing the 20-something-year-old masculine, butch type, I don't need no man, rings and tattoos and all this shit everywhere, all these masculine features. Isn't that insane, dude? Doesn't that seem like something is wrong with our society today? Why are we producing young women that aren't fit for relationships, that aren't even fit to have children? Why is there so much emotional damage in the West today? Why have we spoiled and made entitled and stripped of consequences for their actions all these young women in the world, in our Western world today? They're not even to the point that men would rather go overseas to start a whole new life with somebody from a different culture that speaks a different language with a different way of life. Isn't that messed up? Doesn't that sound crazy? But that's the world we're in today. That's the new normal. And men are adapting, and women hate that men can adapt. Because they can't. They can't go overseas and start families. Nobody looks at the Western woman and goes, wow, that's a catch. That's top tier. It doesn't work like that in reverse. A Western man is seen as top tier. He's got a good salary. He's very nice and caring. He's considerate. He's generous. He wants a family. He wants to take care of his family. But when you reverse that prospect overseas and go Western women to non-Western men, they go, ugh, that's for fun only. Ugh, what are you talking? She's too masculine. Ugh, she doesn't know how to cook. She doesn't know how to clean. Ugh, she probably has kids by 2 different dudes. Ugh, this, ugh, that. There's nothing but ews for modern women in the West when it comes to international men. They would absolutely never touch them unless it's for fun. It's pump and dump, all temporary. That's why They have a big, how do I say this without it getting flagged? For fun industry going overseas. Stella got her groove back type of thing. They all go to Bahamas. They all go to like Ivory Coast. They all go to all these little Jamaica like hot spots where these nasty old 45, 50, 60-year-old granny looking chicks will go over there and get themselves a nice little boy toy. That dude's salary is like $50 a month. $100 a month. Yeah, she's gonna go buy her love, and these guys are just absolutely slinging pipe and game on them 24/7, supporting their families, their real girlfriends, because you got this nasty old hag that's horny and wants a man to desperately love them, and they can't find any men in the United States or the UK or wherever they're from to love them. So they'll go overseas and get themselves a nice boy toy thinking it's real. It's never real. That dynamic will never work. But it does work in reverse. You can get an older man, well established, to get a younger woman who wants a family and to give him kids and to look up to him and respect him and take care of him and all. That's the real dynamic. That's real. Every woman in the West knows it's real. Do you know why? Because they say, I want an older man. I want a more established man. I want a man who's got his head on his shoulders. A man who's more mature. A man who could provide me with things. These young boys are stupid. Guys my age are dumb. They don't know what they want. Guys my age are just boys. I want a man. Well, it takes an older guy to be a man in her eyes. And so the dynamic works overseas. Sorry, ladies. On the international marketplace, you can't compete if you're a Western woman. The international foreign women absolutely are crushing you effortlessly just by existing. Their upbringing is 10 times better and far more suitable as partners. I'm just being honest, bro. I've only been in Eastern Europe for a year. I'm going to tell you right now, knowing what I know and what I have experienced and yet to show you guys, I have hours and hours of footage recorded that I just need to get to and edit when I get back to Romania. You will be, and you've already seen it from the boys in the southeast of Asia. It's real. It exists. It's an option. Figure out a way out of the rat race and escape.